G'day, I'm Wil Anderson. Now, welcome to Gruen. Tonight, we're bringing you the hottest new crime thriller from Stihl.
Make the most of winter with Stihl.
I know what you're thinking. Normal lad, normal guy. But what if I were to tell you that this man is a murderer? That's right. It's time for Law and Order SV Gruen. Let's look at the evidence. What kind of maniac brings a chainsaw to the office? And what happened to his colleagues? I think he made some cuts. No wonder his surviving co-workers are working from home. According to Stihl, he owns 4 chainsaws, 1 for each colleague. He even has a tiny chainsaw hanging underneath his monitor, probably for his murder labubu. And I'm just revving up. In a longer version of the ad, they introduce the prime suspect like this. He's staring at pictures of himself. Or at least the man whose face he stole. Now I'm playing Gruen detective. That's why I stayed up all night making this elaborate murder board. And there's still more. The Stihl killer has nothing in his diary and he's printing out blank paper. He loves murdering so much he'll even murder trees. And I've analysed his typing and this is what I think he wrote. I did it and I'll do it again. Murder, that is. Then the Stihl killer flees the office for his murder cabin, which is red, to hide all the bloodstains. He stands terrifyingly over the swamp where he dumps the bodies and envisions what is going to happen on Monday.
I can still hear their screams.
Case closed. I'm off to my cabin. Time to welcome our panel, Todd Sampson, Carolyn, Liana, Rossi and Russel Howcroft. Aussies are receiving more scam messages than ever, I should know. I'm the one sending them. Now Westpac promises to combat fraud like this.
When it comes to security, you can never have too much. Westpac. Layers and layers of scam and fraud defence.
Nothing says up-to-date technology like a reference to 1999 film The Matrix. Which is so old its fans are now taking a very different blue pill. Layers of protection, but 3 days after the campaign launched, news broke that thousands of bank logins, including Westpac customers, had ended up on the dark web, along with this picture of a data body hack.
Oh my God!
Todd, firstly, thank you for supplying the photo.
No, you're welcome. It's the least I could do.
Todd, is Westpac layering it on too thick?
Well, sorry, I'm just trying to get that image out of my head. So scam funds or lost funds from scamming is in the multi-billions now. And when the money vanishes, we don't sort of blame the Nigerian prince who left us $10 million and sent us a specific email. We blame the banks. And so this ad is really simple. It's visualizing the defense because they believe that if you can see it, you're more likely to believe it. And most people don't know what AI fraud detection looks like, but they do know what a Doberman looks like. They do know what lasers are, or full body armor, or stereotypical Asians with earpieces pretending they're security. They do know that, and Westpac is leveraging that. And layers upon layers is their metaphor. It's their security blanket. It's their way of saying to the customer, you don't need to know what we have. You just need to know we have a lot of it. Mm-hmm. And it's also a message to the regulators because one of their biggest customers are the regulators. They're constantly under scrutiny. And And they're saying to the regulators, look at all the layers upon layers and millions of things we're doing to protect our customers. It may not protect them from a scam, but it could protect them from an inquiry.
Well, look, they've done a big job. They spent lots of money, as Westpac can do, because they've got lots. But in the end, it's a generic piece of advertising. It's just saying we're a bank and we're taking as much concern as you would expect in order to deal with security. What I can't understand is why they haven't branded their form of security. That, to me, is such an obvious opportunity. Now, ANZ's done it with the Falcon, so it's not a unique thing to do, to actually brand your security, but I can't understand why they haven't done that. It's a missed, I think, genuinely, it's a missed branding opportunity. So, well, maybe they could start again.
I would also argue that the consumer problem at the moment is not with the security. And in fact, if you have a look at social media, the things that are really coming up from banks or from people about banks there is, number one, how banks respond once there has been something that's been taken. And if you look at the UK, I mean, banks are actually responsible for refunding lost money. And the things that we see most are people who are upset that their bank hasn't responded in a way that they see fit. Yeah. And then the second part of it is that most people now, or not most people, some people are getting really frustrated that they can't access their money. And in fact, the security is acting as a prohibitor for them doing business or trying to transfer funds that are legitimate. And all of a sudden, banking across the board is completely awful for everyone.
I've seen lots and lots of scam advertising. This is a new normal. I drove past Sydney Airport the other day and there was it was a NAB and then a CommBank back-to-back on a digital out-of-home, basically the same ad. So everyone's talking about this. What I thought was interesting was that they became a team. So we've got a powerful protagonist. She's strong in her own right. She's running. That low camera angle kind of makes her feel like she's a superhero. She's got those big dogs, and then she's got the additional protection saying that the bank is with you. And I thought that was an interesting way to frame it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the data leak came along and one of those dogs got sent to the farm. They blamed the dog. They said the dog leaked it, mate. He put it on the bark web.
Excellent.
It's no secret that we at Gruen enjoy the finer things in life, so we decided to splurge on a new product with more layers than a Westpac ad.
New Kleenex Ultimate Tissues. Luxury softness. Made with 6-ply. Infused with hydrating lotion.
Six-ply pre-lotion tissues. The teenage boys of Australia never had it so good. Each luxury box features an amuse-bouche of 70 decadent 6-ply tissues, or grab a box of 140 3-ply tissues and make your own. But who would actually buy premium tissues? We would. And that's not all. Audience, check under your seats. That's right, you each get one 6-ply tissue. You get one tissue, you get one tissue, you get one tissue. Don't blow it all at once. Liana, can Kleenex make a blowing snot a premium experience?
Look, I don't think it's necessarily a new thing to have a luxury version of products. We see it with dishwashing tablets, we see it with tissues. What I think is interesting here is the audience that they're kind of talking to with this very content-y feeling ad on TikTok, that ASMR, the tapping, using that hook to get people to pay attention. It's really big in the beauty community. It's big with the little treat people. And I think as we're trying to find ways to make ourselves feel special or a bit of self-care in our day-to-day, this is an option for that. But also, it's about the trickle-down. So you see Kleenex, you think it's luxurious, and then whichever one you buy, they're hoping that's what you'll remember.
So the marketing textbook tells you that there's low involvement and high involvement products, right? And this is something which I've always thought was utter nonsense. The very idea that you would go to work saying, I work in a low involvement category, right? So toilet tissue is a low involvement category. No, it's not. It's actually quite essential, right? So petrol, the people in the petrol industry, they'll say we're in a low involvement industry. So therefore we're not going to do good marketing is really what that means. Well, clearly petrol isn't low involvement. You could create an argument in the textbook that Kleenex is low involvement. No, not according to these guys, right? They have gone full bore. Can you imagine the manufacturing that's required to get 6 pliers stuck together with some aloe vera and stick them in a box? The amount of effort. The amount of effort.
I mean, the way you said it didn't make it sound that impressive, but...
I know. But again, it's marketers like a Kleenex that say, no, we're not going to fall for the low involvement trap. Lots of marketers, in particular categories like this, they fall for the low involvement trap because low involvement equals I don't have to try that hard. What it also means is that I'm just going to deal on price. What it also means is I won't be advertising. Well, clearly this isn't what Kleenex has done.
I mean, this could be a bit of price anchoring going on here. So they've got 2-ply, which is standard, 3-ply, which is soft. You got 4-ply, which is luxury, and now you got 6-ply, some would argue idiot tax, but like super, super expensive, product. And maybe they're not trying to flog so much 6-ply as they are normalizing the 3-ply. They're making you think that the 3-ply, which is super expensive as well, the 3-ply is normal and 2-ply is neglect. So they've re-anchored the pricing.
I actually think this is a really smart ad because they've taken all of the cues of luxury unboxing. So, that you've seen people do with other very expensive products that they're really proud to show off. They've applied it with tissues, and basically stealing from another category is a really smart way of applying all of those category cues to your product. So, I mean, we've seen this done loads of times. A lot of luxury cars actually steal from luxury fashion. They kind of use the cues so people know that this is premium and more expensive. And even coffee. I know Nespresso call their coffees Grand Cru, which is obviously stolen from wine, and it's to immediately kind of take some of the gravitas that comes with that and apply it to a new category.
But also for chronically online people like me, this makes me think of the Temu fridge stacking plastic container content.
Yes.
So I think it's been co-opted by the people of the internet, and now it's become a language that is kind of blurred lines, but it's from luxury right down to kind of everyday little joys. Yeah. It's covering all of those bases.
It's quite a leap, isn't it, for Kleenex as well? Like, I thought ASMR was erotic.
Well,
the way Russell said that, the look on his face was just too much.
Sorry.
But I reckon this is a product that was developed out of the what can we produce in the factory first, and consumer came second. Then it was like, well, if we can do that, how can we sell it? And that's what they came up with. Yeah.
There's almost nothing I enjoy eating more than food. But with all my money going on fancy snot rags, it's getting harder to afford groceries. Now Woolies has the answer.
You told us you want change. So at Woolworths, we're making changes to help you fill your basket for less. You'll now find lower shelf prices on hundreds of products. And because lower shelf prices stay lower for longer, it's a change you'll see at the checkout. Lower shelf prices. It's a fresh commitment to you from the fresh food people.
Fun fact, they save money by stealing those arrows from Coles. But let's talk about lower shelf prices. Woolies sells 20,000 products and has lowered the price on 400 of them. So maybe you should lower your expectations. Instead of the red arrows, they should have gone with this. Russell, why is this offer so shelfish?
Oh, do you know what I love? I love the fact that the consumers, the public, we actually do punish brands. So if you go back to the pandemic times, Coles and Woolworths, they were seen as the most trusted brands in the country. And then if you have a look at the trust index now, well, that's not so much the case. So the consumers really do watch what's going on with regard to brands and corporations, and of course they watch price as well. So the very idea that 400 of 20,000 is going to be enough in order to reverse, the brand trend, well, that's unlikely to be the case. Also, of course, they're dealing with, as is Coles, they're dealing with some ACCC issues with illusionary pricing. So that, of course, that's going to really affect trust as well. And I've been thinking about this. I think it's missing. How do you bring back trust? I don't think you bring back trust by doing sort of traditional advertising. You've got to find a way to reflect the joy that you ought to be having by feeding Australia at a very low price. It's core to who and what you are. You've got to get your values right? So the notion of value every day. We are going to provide value every day for the Australian public, and we're going to celebrate the fact that we do that, and we're going to give them something enjoyable to watch, and as a result, they will reward the advertiser.
This is an incredible rip-off. Like, so Coles down positioned themselves during the price wars as the sort of the value brand, and they did it quite well. This, to me, feels sort of deceptive, less like a price strategy, more like a perception strategy. Because they're saying they're not guaranteeing anything. They're saying lower shelf prices. So that seems like a smokescreen, semantics. So what does that mean? Lowest prices on what? For how long? When? We don't know that. But what we do know is that Coles spent millions of dollars conditioning us that red, arrows pointing down, and when you see lower, it means value. And they literally have just grabbed it and used it. And to me, it seems like they're trying to trick us from a perception point of view to make us think that they're our friends because they're helping us out, some kind of altruism in the cost of living crisis. They're there just to sort of help us out. But what they're really doing is getting the value perception without it dramatically impacting their margin or their bottom line.
Yeah, but what we need to have, again, is we need to go back to having advertising war. There was an advertising war. Woolworths versus Coles. They spent tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on various ways to persuade us that they were bringing their prices down. And they were legit bringing their prices down.
But the thing with this is neither Woolworths nor Coles are the cheapest supermarket. Like Aldi clearly is, and that's really blatantly obvious. And Aldi doesn't advertise on price most of the time. They're actually advertising on fun and a whole load of other quirky stuff that they go with.
Yeah, and in the supermarket wars, I think Aldi will fight dirty.
I mean, Woolworths have taken a huge risk with this because they've called it out and said you will notice it at the till. And that is, unless you are buying from that 400 product range that actually has been reduced, you will not see that at the till.
I think it's interesting that they open with that kind of we listened sentiment. Like, you've said something, this is us listening, and then this really bizarrely happy family runs in.
You know what the least convincing part of the ad for me is? The little kid who's putting the love heart in there, and the employee's like, oh, isn't this charming, knowing I'm going to have to clean that. You annoying little shit. That's the freezer. That's meant to be closed, mate. Yeah, if you're sitting at home wondering why that girl you like hasn't called you back, it's probably because she doesn't have a SIM card. Probably. Well, good news. There's a new ad.
This is the story of how a family escaped their pricey telco. It begins with a woman trying Amaysim and getting 120 gigs of data for just $35 every renewal for 12 renewals. Then she quietly thought to herself, that's a good deal. So she told her husband. Now he streams more sport and pays less. Then she told her parents. Now they get legendary service and pay less. Then she told her son. He didn't reply, so she signed him up anyway. And now we've told you. So escape your pricey telco with Amaysim.
Amaysim!
Unreal. Literally unreal. Everyone in that ad is AI generated, but you couldn't tell unless you noticed that this finger turns into a thumb. This dad has an extra finger. Oh, and he's also pooing with his pants on. Case closed. Carolyn. All ads are fake, but is this one too fake?
Well, I actually think they've probably done quite a good job with this because they've created a surreal world to put them in the first place. So, I mean, it works in this ad because it is a false world. It is kind of cartoonish anyway. And then, at the end of the day, they haven't actually done anything particularly interesting, though. So I wouldn't say it's a good ad. It wouldn't cut through any clutter. If you saw it somewhere, it wouldn't be interesting enough to actually kind of take a second look. But they have definitely gotten away with it, for sure.
I know there's a lot of question marks around the ethical nature of this, but I'm not certain what the real question is, because most advertising is fabrication. It's actors lying. This case, it's machines lying on behalf of marketing departments. Now, if that makes people feel uncomfortable, that's fine. It just doesn't make it a bad ad because of that.
There's a telco in New Zealand called Skinny, which is also this orange colour, and they did an AI-generated ad, I think maybe earlier this year or last year, and the use of AI was central to the idea. So it's what you're talking about. Their whole premise is they spend less on the advertising to pass it on to the customer. So they made a digital clone of their most valued customer and used her in the ad. So again, central to the idea. It was met with kind of mixed feelings from audiences, from regular people, from advertisers. I mean, I'm a creative, so this feels like being invited to your own funeral. Like, that aside, I think there's really an opportunity here to still make sure that we don't lose ideas or the reason that we are making it. I think this is a great ad if you've got a second screen and the voiceover is very clear, you get the offer and there's a blur of orange in the background. I think as soon as you start to try and get people to lock in and pay attention, their interest wanes. But I would expect them to make many more of these and build equity in this world that they've created.
I actually think that I don't think there's an ethical problem with using AI, and I think there is huge creative potential in using AI. How many campaigns have you worked on that have been massively compromised because you couldn't find the location or find the right talent, or the idea got shut down because we'd never be able to afford to shoot it? Like, all of those things magically go away and it opens up creative opportunities. Now, there is no doubt this is going to disrupt our industry like nothing else, and I am pretty confident I'm not going to have any use for my job in 5 years. And I'm not worried about that at all, because I do know that other opportunities will open up, and I'm excited about the potential for it.
Yeah, but you won't, this advertising, in the end, you won't take any notice of it. In the end, you won't take any notice of it.
I think it's going to require taste. It'll change the structure of teams, but it's going to require taste. And I think that's my point here. Currently, like, it was PR'd in our trade press as being kind of a first of its kind. I would love them to follow up with how it goes.
Yeah, the problem
Tell me
is,
if it worked.
On some level, this is dystopian because this is not really an ad for data. It's an ad for AI and normalizing it. And I think the genie's out of the bottle and we're just at the beginning.
Well, it was great to find out tonight how Gruen ends. I, for one, welcome it. This year we're asking the Gruen audience to provide a pitch topic, and this week the nerds that watch this show asked our agencies to make chess our national sport. Here's the first pitch.
G'day everyone. You know, the great thing about chess is that it's not just reserved for the elite, the athletic or the intellectual.
Aussies love a fair go, so our creative taps into the simple yet powerful truth that chess is for everyone.
We play because we're built for battle. We fight with the most dangerous weapon on the planet. There is only one winner. Anyone can take on anyone. And when the night falls, war has begun. You can see a grandmother beat a 30-year-old man mercilessly. An 8-year-old boy can humble the most braggadocious veteran in an upset for the ages. You might even hide something up your butt to win. Allegedly. But tell me you wouldn't pay good money to see Cindy Bunyip from down the road wearing the green and gold and wiping the floor with a smug Norwegian. What's our next national sport? It's black and white. Checkmate, Australia.
Well, you've convinced me. Here's our next pitch.
Throughout the ages, we've seen so many brands tap into a sense of national nostalgia, and we felt this was the best way to ingrain chess in its rightful place as Australia's national sport.
Come on, Australia, get on board.
Australia, what's your favourite food?
A snack.
And what's your favourite car?
A ute.
And what's your favourite pastime?
Chess.
Oh, I see. So you love having a snag.
Too right.
And what do you love driving?
A ute.
And what do you love doing?
Moving King's Pawn to E4.
I thought so. From Cottesloe to Cairns, from Darwin to Devonport, there's nothing more Aussie than a game of chess.
Go grab Keith, go grab Kate, grab a seat and check your mate. Come on, Australia, get on board. Come on, Australia, get on board.
Well, you've convinced me, but what will our panel think? Todd, you first.
Two.
Carolyn, which did you prefer?
Look, I understand where one went. I understand they made it for everyone and that it's an equal playing field. I actually thought that was a really cool idea. But number two is just so entertaining. How could you not love it?
Liana?
Yeah, I'm going to be singing number 2 when I go home tonight.
I love the fact that number 2 is a homage to Mojo. Number 2.
Yeah, well, congratulations. To Grouse House Studios, we'll deliver your trophy like this. If you're watching this right now on TikTok, you probably already know about TikTok. For the rest of you, TikTok is kind of a digital vape that keeps your teenagers from ever making eye contact with you. Did you know that TikTok is actually a force for good? Well, it's not. But TikTok says it is.
So proud of the person you become, not only musically, but as a human being. When you first started to pick up the guitar and play, something wasn't gelling, it just wasn't working 100%. I think some of the guys that you were watching on TikTok were just explaining things to you in a different way that clicked to you.
It's genuinely helped me to learn. You're struggling to switch to chords like C, D, and G? I have a tip that's going to help you out immediately. I love being able to share music with you. It's one of the things that I value most about our relationship.
That's not his dad, that's just a man he met on TikTok. TikTok's outdoor ads make bold claims like TikTok gets Aussie teens into fishing, mostly catfishing. Liana, will parents send their kids for a healthy scroll?
Look, 5.5 years into the kind of public zeitgeist, people still think it's a dancing app. And TikTok is a place where people go to learn. It's where I learned how to triple pinch pleat curtains that I just hung in my apartment. And I think what they've done here is really clever in they need to convince people that it's real. So they started with very real family photos. You can tell that's the kid that's in there, that's the dad, I'm pretty sure. And then you kind of get into this documentary style where looking down on them, it feels like you're a fly on the wall, and it almost removes TikTok from that narrative. It really lets it be between the parent and the child. And it's hard for parents, I think, who try to get on the app and understand what their kids might be up to because the algorithm is so good. So, you know, they might be getting like a lot of memes or content that is nowhere near what their child is getting. Everyone's algorithm is completely crafted to themselves. If your own is bad, it's literally your own fault. So, like, I think they've done the right thing here. I think it is moving to be the search platform for Gen Z. It's where they're going first, and they're learning things through video content. We know abstinence doesn't work, so they've got to get in there and learn.
I actually think that this ad is doing three things. So yes, it's breaking down some resistance from parents who think that TikTok is the bastion of evil and kids should stay away. It's also attracting content creators though. And I still think there's probably a large platform of people who feel that YouTube is actually the educational space. Like if you need to learn how to do something, you go to YouTube and kind of search for it on there. So there is a level of TikTok wanting to make sure they keep the content generation coming through, and this actually appeals to people who are already creating content, but perhaps not yet using TikTok as their main platform. So there's that too. And finally, there's the brand thing that they're trying to get across, that you're right, people sometimes don't realise it's not just a dancing platform, and there is a bit of a negativity around TikTok that it is a complete vacuum for time. So this is kind of saying, but you can also learn stuff. It's kind of like McDonald's selling apple slices, you know? Good times.
So what's going on here, though, of course, is Australia's about to lead the world. We're about to, I think, have a reason to be proud. In the December of this year, under 16-year-olds aren't going to be allowed to be on social media. And in fact, today, YouTube is highly likely to also not be allowed by under 16s. This is a good thing. It's a good thing. And what's going on here with TikTok, of course, is they're trying to sort of build up some goodwill with regard to who and what they are. And I would imagine that part of the build-up of goodwill is designed to be communicated to government. I don't think it's going to change the government's point of view. They are also trying to, I suppose, get the public just to like them as a brand. But the very idea that this sort of, benevolent digital dictator in the sky is teaching my son how to play the guitar and, fish and read, it's just utter tripe. It's nonsense.
The fishing thing's real. Like, have you seen how many kids are out fishing around the harbour now?
Thanks to TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Well, it could be thanks to, what about thanks to Dad that they can be out there doing?
No, Russell, no.
Okay, so is it a good thing or a bad thing that under 16s aren't going to be allowed on social media?
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
And Russell, this is another case, twice in one season, where I actually agree with you. I think this ad is total bullshit. I think them trying to reskin themselves as a discovery, a discovery agent or empowerment, we should all be clear what it is. I mean, the algorithm is designed not for learning and empowerment, it's designed for revenue and retention. It's not built to help you discover things. It's built to have brands discover you. And all your data, everything, it's all wrapped up. Your desires, your wants, your likes, your behavioral, put into a black box that is then optimized for manipulation.
Yeah.
And the fact that they want to try and reskin it as a kind of bite-sized Google, to me, is complete PR bullshit.
When my parents banned me from MSN, when I was 15. I worked out how to like download a lookalike thing so the computer looked the same, and I had it hiding in the background.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I believe that we need some
you
level.
got taught good skills to get around.
Exactly.
That's being inventive.
Yeah.
You probably learnt it on YouTube.
I'm not saying social media is bad. We should ban kids and get everyone off it, and it's all horrible.
We should ban kids. Sure.
I'm saying don't bullshit us. Okay. Don't try to fool us. Don't try to wrap us in sort of velvet when we all know what it is.
It's a bit sweet and saccharine, I'll give you that. But it is also the truth. It is the truth. People are learning how to do things on there that they were probably once learning on YouTube. I think the other interesting thing between YouTube and TikTok in this country is creators don't get paid for their views in Australia on TikTok, but they do earn advertising revenue on YouTube. So there is also a push and pull on where the experts go. But ultimately, people don't understand, still, in meetings that I'm in, that this is an app where people aren't just dancing in their underpants.
Yeah. Earlier tonight, we uncovered Stihl's new adaptation of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Make the most of winter with Stihl. Only from Stihl dealers and Stihl shop online.
Well, you've convinced me. This is what they use to make programming decisions at the ABC. A better tagline would be, I still know what you did last summer. Carolyn, is this a horror move from a Saw franchise?
Absolutely not. I love this ad. And the reason why I love it is because usually when you see man ads, they're only ever focused on what we see in the second half of this ad of tough guys chopping stuff. But this actually shows that within many corporate guys who are balancing the spreadsheet, there is their inner bloke, their inner Nick Offerman, who's going to go out there and chop some wood. And I just think it's a really lovely, a lovely draw for that. And I really believe that so many people do sit there in an office fantasising about being somewhere else.
Like, it is completely freaky, but I did wonder if it was also maybe trying to target women, because I was like, this guy's kind of good looking, and now I'm paying attention.
Totally.
But I think, like, it's interesting to me that really clear, outside good, inside bad, outside good, inside bad. And then when he's counting down the time, they're like, and here's a clock. Like, everything is very simple and literal, but it takes us actually quite a long time to get to the point. And the wooden desk and the plinth next to it, like, it is all the psycho killer things that you've suggested. The one thing I think with these kind of global ad apps that makes it really hard is how relatable that scene and that house is. I think we've obviously got a layer of housing concerns in this country, and seeing the guy leave his city office to go to that big wooden cabin, I was a bit like, does this happen? Maybe.
You'd have a cabin in the woods, right, Russ?
Stihl is always triggering for me, Will. Many years ago, we pitched for Stihl. And the end line was, it's Stihl, not Stihl. Which made no sense, obviously, but
Hang on, what is... I don't even know what the line is that you're saying.
It was like, I think we were riffing off Hogan's Heroes or Monty Python or something.
Yeah.
It's Stihl, not Stihl, which was designed, obviously, to be completely silly and nonsense.
But which one of them was the name of the product?
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
No, because the name of the product was Stihl.
It's Stihl, not Stihl. It's Stihl, not Stihl.
It's Stihl, not Stihl.
Oh, okay. Well, that has cleared it up. So.
Exactly.
Other than offending Germans, what was the feedback?
So, needless to say, we didn't win.
No. They would have thought you were pranking them when you just went in and go, no, it's Stihl, not Stihl. What are you talking about? No, it's Stihl.
Oh, it amused us enormously. It was so fun.
Have you got a second idea? No, it's Stihl, not Stihl, not Stihl.
I don't know. I find this ad confusing.
Okay.
I don't know if they're selling a Saw or Identity Crisis. I don't. The whole, is this them trying to, pardon the pun, chop away at masculine toxicity? Is that what it is meant to be? I thought they were trying to sell saws.
Even if you take it literally, is there a big enough market? So literally a loner in an office who is fantasising about going to their wooden cabin alone with actually the smallest version of their chainsaw as well.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Well, it's just your city chainsaw. It's just your work chainsaw.
Right.
Like, you know, it's just a little trip to the... If you're going for it, you take all your property, all four.
Right, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like,
Russell, are you saying there's a phallic element to this?
Well, I'm just wondering, like, so if this well, it's small, it's up there to chop
small
up
wood.
small wood, right? Obviously, right. But I mean, I'm never a big believer in this.
It's still not still. Well, this was a fun end for the show. Hey, I can't do this. The Stihl chainsaw ad is still horrifying to me, but there is one victim that I would still like to see. Please thank our panel, Russel, Liana, Carolyn and Todd. Stay tuned for Guy Montgomery's The Guy Mont Spelling Bee tonight. We introduced you to Amaysim, whose ads used to be all too human, but since their new campaign doesn't use any actual people, we thought we'd just take it for ourselves.
It begins with a woman who just discovered she can watch Gruen on her phone and got a great idea for a new cocktail. This guy combines two of his favourite things by watching Gruen on the toot. Then they called her parents, but they are old, so they were already watching the ABC. Finally, she called her son, but he was exhausted from having just finished his box of 6-ply Kleenex tissues. And so now we've told you. So watch Gruen for no intelligence, artificial or otherwise.